Alright guys, here is the first look of inside the transmission. It looks like this throwout bearing is having a tough time rolling on this shaft right here, but nothing looks to be broken or anything. Okay, as you can see right here, this is a Luck clutch. I did not put this in. One of the previous owners put this in. So I've read mixed reviews online about these. Some people say they're okay, some people say they're terrible. I think they're OEM manufacturer for certain manufacturers, but this one was not working well, did not let me into gear, and was very, very firm on the clutch pedal and numerous other problems. So this one is going. So in order to remove this, I'm first going to remove, I believe there are 8 bolts all around here. You definitely want to hold this whenever you take this out. This is going to be very, very heavy. So next step, I'm going to remove this this pressure plate. All right guys, so here is my pressure plate. Here is the organic disc. None of the springs are loose. Well, none of the springs are missing, I should say. This is a little, I don't know if that's normal or not, but and it doesn't look destroyed. It's not too bad, but there's that. Here's the back side of the pressure plate. You can see a little warping on there. I don't see these every day, so I don't know how bad that is. It's not severely grooved or anything, but it definitely has some heat warping going on there. But yeah, here are the fingers to these. Oh, some of these have edges on them, and then these are flat. I wonder if that makes a difference. See, these have an edge to them right there, and then these ones are flat. I wonder if that makes a big difference. Anyways, there are my 2 clutch components. Now I am going to remove the flywheel. Okay, well, once I took off that disc and that pressure plate, all this dust just went everywhere. You can see my transmission is just caked in all this dust. I do plan on getting the hose and completely cleaning behind this once I have this flywheel off. Also, you can see there is just the inside of the bell housing here is just caked in all this stuff. I am putting a new fork on, by the way, and a new fork pivot ball on there, so stay tuned for that. But anyways, these bolts on the flywheel are 18 millimeter, so I'm going to remove those first. This is extremely heavy as well. Let's listen to this pivot. Ooh, pilot bearing. It's very, very dry. It's really not even turning. You see, and it's very crunchy in there, not turning easy. Yeah, definitely need a new one of those. You can see it in there. It's not tore up or anything though, not really, so at least that's good. All right, I'm gonna get these bolts off and try to remove this flywheel. All right guys, so in order to get those flywheel bolts off without the flywheel turning, this is what I use. Let me show you right here. I'm underneath the truck, and you can see this tool right here. OTC part number 7471A. I will have a link for this in the description of the video, so if you'd like to get this off of Amazon, I do have a link for you. This is called a barring tool. This is a barring tool for the Cummins turbo diesel. So what this will do is this will fit inside a little window, and this will enable it to where the flywheel will be stuck in position to where it can't move whenever I try to undo those flywheel bolts. So here's the flywheel. I'm underneath the engine right now. You can see there is the down pipe on the turbo. You can see I have the exhaust disconnected, and then let me position my flashlight here right there. So you can see that bolt and that bolt up there. So those both go to that little plate, and whenever I undo the bottom bolt and loosen the top bolt, that should move downwards to where I can put that boring tool inside there. Alright, so I just loosened the bolts up, and you can see that little window just comes right down. We have both a viewing hole and a hole to put the boring tool inside. You can see, just putting the camera up there, you can see the flywheel right there. So whenever I put this boring tool up there, it will stop it. So let's go ahead and get our boring tool. Here we go right here. And let's put this in here. Just goes in like that. Kind of get it in place where it can grab that flywheel. Okay, now it is in. You can see it in right up there. Now I'm gonna get like a breaker bar on that, 1/2-inch breaker bar, to where it will hold the flywheel in place so it won't move whenever we try to undo those flywheel bolts. Okay, you can see that my breaker bar is in there, and whenever I start turning the flywheel, this will grab hold and this will prevent the flywheel from moving. So let's go ahead and see if we can break those flywheel bolts loose now. Alright, now that I have this breaker bar on with the boring tool, you can see it right here. I'm going to attempt to remove these flywheel bolts. They are a 18mm. I have my long 3/8 ratchet here. Let's see if I could break it. Oh man, it's turning. Nice. Alright, looks like this is going to work. Alright, now that I have all of these flywheel bolts busted loose, I'm going to take out the top bolt. There it is right there. We're going to set that to the side. And now what I have is this bolt right here. It does not have a head on it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to screw it into the very top 12 o'clock bolt here. And what this is going to do is this is going to hold the flywheel. Whenever I get all of these bolts undone, this thing is extremely heavy, and it, you know, you don't want this falling on you, let's just say that. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to take off all the rest of these bolts, and then that bolt without a head on there will at least hold it on there to where it won't fly to the ground. So let's go ahead and take off the rest of these bolts. Okay, all of the bolts are now off. I'm now going to try to wiggle this off. Alright, there we have it separated. I'm going to very carefully try to remove this. Oh my goodness, that is very heavy. Very, very heavy. Oh man. Check this out. We do have a moist rear main seal right there. It is definitely looking moist, so for sure going to be replacing that. All right, now that we have the flywheel off, this part here is called the adapter plate, and I'm going to be taking this off. The main reason is because behind this area right here is what is called a cam seal. It is a square O-ring. There's a chance that that could be leaking, and I don't know if it's ever been replaced, so I definitely want to replace that O-ring while I'm here and I have all this off. In order to get this adapter plate, you can see that there is 4 15mm bolts on each side, so a total of 8, but you also have the starter right here. So you could just disconnect the power wires and the connections to the starter and just take it along with the adapter plate, but I would actually rather have this adapter plate have less weight. So I'm just going to undo the 3 bolts off of the starter and just completely remove the starter before I take off this adapter plate. The starter is up there, and you can see From here you can see a total of 2 bolts. Also notice they are 12 point. They are 12 point only. So make sure you have a 12 point 10mm socket. And then on the other end of the starter, not visible here, there is a 3rd bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this starter first. All right, now it is time to loosen these 8 15mm bolts. I have disconnected the starter. It's for now just sitting there. I undid the 3 bolts. Some of those you can't get to with the socket and ratchet, by the way. I had to use a 12 point just regular wrench. So now I'm just going to loosen these 8 bolts, and this adapter plate should come off. Then we can see our cam seal. Oh, there's another bracket connected to this. I'll have to disconnect that. There's a bracket right there. I gotta disconnect. Looks like it's a 10mm right in this upper corner above the starter. Was not aware of that one. All right guys, I finally got the adapter plate off. I just have the starter resting here on that little ledge on the block. Like I said, I had to remove this bracket right there. That was unexpected. It was a 10mm. But now with that adapter plate removed, now you can see the back of the block. It is quite dirty up there, but what I do notice right here is this is where the cam seal goes. This is part of the adapter plate, you know, is up against this, and then there is a squared off like an O-ring gasket right here. And what you can see right here is it is wet. It may be a little hard to pick up on camera. You know, I do have limited lighting, this literally being underneath the truck, but I can see that there is definitely oil here. Let's just see, it is wet. So that seal was at least seeping. So that is the end of the cam right there. This rear main seal plate is very dirty as well. The rear main seal, you can see, is pretty moist. Looks like it has at least been weeping somewhere. So basically, yeah, it's leaking. You can see it's coming down all the way down the oil pan right here. So definitely some, you know, I didn't have any puddles or anything underneath my truck, underneath the engine, but you can tell that these were at least seeping, and it was a little bit of a leak. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this up. Here is the adapter plate. This is facing towards the transmission. You can see it is extremely dusty. I'm definitely, with this off the truck, this will be easy for me to clean. Probably power wash it, get some degreaser on there, clean this up. You can see there's just filth all the way around. So let's flip it over. This is the engine block side. This is where your starter goes in. And here is where the, oh man, did that seal cut in half? Oh no. Okay, well here's the seal. Mine was poking out a little bit. I guess that's normal after it's been uninstalled. But anyways, look at all of this oil accumulation, this grease. This is thick, extra thick. So this tells me that there was definitely a leak, at least at some point, with the rear main seal. Possibly you can see that this is actually an oil trail all the way down here, and then actually it probably was this seal came all the way down here and then leaked down here, and then all this accumulated because of that oil leak. So this is the back of it. I'm definitely going to clean this up and replace this seal right here. I have a genuine Cummins seal, so I will have the part number listed in the description. But I'm glad I thought to replace this, because why would you do all the work of a clutch job and not replace this seal? So anyways, I have my work cut out for me. Whenever I clean this up and install the new seal, I will compare the old seal to the new one. All right guys, I am underneath the truck. Obviously here's the transmission and the pivot ball spring. You can see it. Get some light. You can see it right there. This connects to the pivot ball and the clutch fork. This is the clutch fork. Here's the throw out bearing. And I have pressure washed this from a distance a little bit, but you can still see it is very dirty in here. So I like to, you know, keep things clean, put it back together clean. So I am going to get some degreaser and some brushes and clean this up again. But before I do that, I need to remove the clutch fork and the throwout bearing. So as I was saying, this little clip right here holds it onto the pivot ball, which is back there, that right there. So that has already come undone because I was actually testing this like this, and as I was testing it, it just came off. So this should just, with the throwout bearing connected to the fork here, it should just slide off. But at the moment, it is having some difficulty. So, oh, there we go. Let's see if I can get this. Let me put down this flashlight and see if I can get this off. There is quite a bit of resistance. There is a lot of gunk buildup on the shaft right there. So you can see all that. That is not ideal. So I may actually have to clean that off before I even attempt to move this off of the shaft. So, well, let me see what I can do. See, it's getting hung up. That's not good. There's lots of debris right here. Lots of debris. Okay, I cleaned it off with some degreaser. Oh yeah, a lot easier. Still a little hung up. Man, this shaft is so dry. Still getting hung up. Interesting. There we go. Jeez. Man, obviously I'll have to clean that shaft. It is dry as a bone. Rusted, no good. No wonder why my clutch was so hard to operate and not engaging in gear. Look at that. That is not what you want to see. Man, definitely gonna have to clean this up, Scotch-Brite it. But before I do that, I'm going to clean this whole bell housing. I'm going to get my degreaser, brushes, and try to clean this up a little bit. There is a pivot ball. Doesn't look like it's too rounded or too flattened, so that's not bad. Although I did buy a brand new OEM pivot ball, so we will be replacing that. But anyways, I got some work to do. Let me go ahead and start cleaning this bell housing. By the way, look how dry it is in that throwout bearing. Just dry as a bone. It's still connected to the fork. You can see the clips on the back here. That is how it clips on to this fork. There is the clip for the pivot ball. That's how that works. I'll show you guys whenever I install it. I have a brand new OEM clip as well. But yeah, there's a throwout bearing. This is a Luck clutch, L-U-K. So, by the way, here is the part number for the clutch fork. That is always, if you're looking at the transmission like head on, like that, then that is in the bottom left hand quadrant. So just so you know, that's the orientation of it. But anyways, let me get to cleaning. Hey, thanks for watching. Just remember, this is part 3 out of a total of 11 parts for this entire job. So be sure to tune in next week for part 4, and I will be releasing a new part each week for a total of 11. Thank you for watching.